Hello everyone. So this video is for our foo dogs, and on this we're just going to be drawing the head. We'll do another one where we've got his body, and I usually do this one over here. He's kind of at a nice angle. So again, this one's just for his head. Alright, so I've got my paper, and we're using the Willow charcoal. It's not everybody's favorite, but I really like it, and it seems to be fairly easy for the kids to use. They do tend to break it, but you know, that's where you pick up the short piece and you keep going. Okay, so I'm going to start in the top half of the paper, just a little bit off center, so a little toward the right. We're going to start with his eye. And for that, I'm going to start with a circle. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a smaller circle in there. And then I'm going to make kind of just kind of triangle side shapes on the side for the rest of his eye. And on this side, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Then I'm going to give him a brow bone. So I'm going to start kind of over in here and just make a nice big curve going over. And then when I get to here, I'm going to kind of come down. Okay, so this is the shape I'm going for. And I'm going to do that just a couple more times. Really help myself know where I'm putting that. If they're not all perfect, that's okay. All right, now on this part, I'm going to scooch over just a little bit, and I'm going to kind of make a smaller one. This is going to be the eye that's turned away from you. I'm going to do just a little bit more like that, so I know where that's going. And then I'm going to make the nose next. And it's kind of an odd shape to a nose, but he's also kind of turned sideways. So I'm going to come down right in through here. And I'm going to start with kind of a circle-y shape. Okay. That's one nostril. And I'm going to take, and it's going to go on up. So it's kind of comes up here, and then it kind of rounds off. And then comes back down. Almost looks like a little turned up nose right now. And then we're going to finish it with another kind of round shape over here, and that is the other nostril poking out. And we'll color this all together, and it'll look a bit more. So I'm going to come right up here and join it up just a touch more. All right, now, right above it, I am going to make a little bit of a mark right there, just to finish off that side of the face. And then I'm going to come up here and make the top of his head. Now, to start, I'm going to make a little bit of a bump here. Whoops. Ignore that part. Just a little bit of a bump here, because that's the way his head shape goes. And then I'm going to make a curve here. Now, the easiest way to make a curve is to plant your wrist on the ground, or the table, whatever, and then just move your hand, okay? Move your hand back and forth, and you got a nice little gentle curve there, okay? All right, some more placeholder lines here. He's got an ear up in this area, and it's kind of leaned back. He's got his head up, and that's just my kind of parentheses shape. So I'm going to do that here. Okay, and then we're going to join it up down here. You can't really see the other ear from here, but if you wanted to put it in, like right about there, you could. All right, next I'm going to draw kind of the top of his cheekbone, right about in through here. So about here on his little nostril. And give him a curve, and it's going to go back to meet that area there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is come down here. I'm going to start the top of his jaw. So from this spot here, I'm going to do kind of a straightish line to about there. That's kind of right right around the edge of his nose. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make kind of an arch. And it's not going to be like a perfectly curved Roman arch. It's going to chop off a little bit more over here because remember, you're seeing him from the side. And then I'm going to come out just a smidgen. And then I'm going to put a second line that follows that first. All the way back. So just makes that a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to just make a little curve right there to finish that off. Now we're going to add some teeth. His fangs come down here on these points. And the teeth in the middle here, they're just little bumps. And if you think that the fangs make him look too vicious, just leave that part off. All right, so I am going to, this would be kind of the continuation of his teeth, but they're not really shown very well on the statue. Okay, so I get about right in here, kind of in between the tip of his eye and the tips we made back here. It's going to curve back down because it's kind of the edge of his jaw where it's open. I'm going to bring it back down. I have a tendency to always make my foo dogs with an underbite. my dog at home, Barry's got an underbite, so I'm going to try not to do that this time. So stop before you get to the fangs. I always stop after. So stop before, and you're going to make the other fang. And then you're going to make kind of a little bump there. You're going to make the other fang. All right, no underbite. Sorry, Barry. And then what we're going to do is have a little curve down here. And since this is his chin, it kind of bumps up a little bit right there. And then this, we're going to curve it on around and let it join up back here. So there we go. Now he does have those same little bumpy teeth here. And he's got his tongue sticking up. So here, just make a nice little curvy thing here for the tongue. Now, to finish that jaw off on the way, we're going to just come down a little bit here, right there. And then it's going to meet up here. So if you want to, just come over here and draw a line out to meet him. Okay? Now let's add some little hair bits, and then we'll go back and add our shading. So scooching back over here, I'm going to be starting up here on the ear, and I'm going to make kind of a tear shape, and then it's going to connect up here. So here we go. That first, and then just back up. Okay, and I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to start a little further over, and then back up. Because remember, these were originally lions, the Chinese guardian lion. So this is for his mane. Okay, and then since the mane comes down, I'm going to start right about in here, and I'm going to do kind of a similar shape, and it's going to meet in a point down here. So curve and then point, and then I'm going to have it just kind of come up in a little parenthesis shape since it's the side. And it just needs to go around on his corner, or on his shoulder. Okay, so these are our basic outlines. Now we're going to go back and add some cool shading and help some areas really pop. So what I like to do is I like to fill in the eye. Put a good amount of charcoal down. And then I like to take my shader And give that a nice smear. A lot more solid on the color. Okay? And then usually I'll take whatever's left and just kind of scrape it along these lines here to kind of blend them in a little bit too. And then I'm also going to do that same thing over here with his nose. Add the parts that I want to be really dark. If I want something to be a little bit lighter, I won't put as much charcoal on that. And then I'm going to come back with my little shading tool. I'm going to use just what was left over for right there on the nostril. And you can always go back to, and any parts that you want to stand out more, you add a little bit more charcoal to. Or, if you don't like the shape, you can always go back and fix it. Okay. Now, one thing that I usually do is add a bit more of the depth right there, and I will go back and add quite a bit more here on brow bone and above the eye. And at this point, if you want, you can just turn the kids loose and let them do the shading that they want to do. And I like to have kind of dark coming up here and then lightening. So what I'll do here is really just kind of rub that together and then pull it. Kind of pull that charcoal color out a little bit. And then kind of smear it on back a little bit. So it gives him a little bit of color, but not a ton. Okay. And I'm keeping some areas nice and dark. Like I said, you can always go back and add more to highlight a certain bit. And then I like to add some bits up here for the ear. He's got some texturing right here on this upper lip, and generally what I will do is just a few little lines, something like that. You can smear them, you can add a lot of color. This line here on him is actually fairly flat and thick, so you can fill that in a bit more. The original dog, all this in here looks really dark in the photo, but I tend to leave that kind of open and make the rest of him darker. How you do that is up to you. Now on the mane, one thing that I do recommend is going ahead and giving him a light fill in. And go ahead and do the smear. And if you want to do a bigger area at one time, you can use like cotton, or if you've got like the bigger smear sticks or anything like that. But see, by doing just kind of the lines instead of really, really solid, he has a bit more texture. And then what I'll do is go over them again, just adding little bits of the still dark on top. And that looks really cool for the mane. And I'll usually do the same thing on the back part of the mane too. Put in some lively lines. Give him a good smudge. And then go back and add some highlights there. And then one thing that I like to do on this guy is leave some areas just strategically open. Like the teeth, and I usually leave the top mane open, and just various parts, okay? But have fun with him, and yeah.